Hello, Matthew. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. All right, let me just do my thing. You know what I mean? I got to tell everybody that we're live. Happy race day. It's tier 2. And it's the Singapore Grand Prix. Can I just say something? Well, of course I can say something. I'm live on the internet, right? I can say whatever I want. I love this racetrack in particular. It's really hard work to drive around it. But I do love this racetrack. I also missed last week because I was away, had a little bit of stuff to carry on with. What happened? What did I miss? I'll tell you the truth. I'm not caught up. Let's have a look at the standings. That's a good thing to do, to work out, you know, what's going on. Tolu. Okay, so that's two race wins for Tolu so far in the first 2 rounds this season. That's pretty cool and exciting. Tolu won 50 points, leading the Drivers' Championship currently. Jumpy Painter is in P2 with 32 points. So that's a gap of 18 points after just 2 races. And then we have Snipes, who I am not allowed to call Snips anymore. In P3, we're 26. Soul Demon, P4, Razor, Shelby, Igor. The guys are all there. In fact, I'm looking for a bit more from Sean tonight. That seems to be the order of the day. Sean currently sitting, well, 18th, but with 0 points. So I guess it's like joint 18th with everybody else. But was one of my standout drivers last season. So hopefully we see some good things from Sean tonight around the Marina Bay Street Circuit. And I will go and ride on board with somebody in a minute. Don't worry, they're all just leaving the pits, doing whatever they want. Look at that, LT. I'm just catching up with the chat as well. LTK Terrier not happy about the LTK barrier. All right, don't worry about that. You know what? I put the chat in the wrong place. Hang on. Can't actually see the chat while I can see the game. There we go. Much better. All right, Kelston, let's do streaming. What do we do here? That's fine. Fastest lap. Best. Yes, yes, yes. All the track, please. Who's going to be first? This is LTK, but is there an Alpine or a Williams just in front of him? There's something going on. It is Igor who is going to be, I think, starting the first lap for tonight. So we'll ride on board with Igor then as he takes us around a lap of the Marina Bay Street Circuit. As I say, one of my absolute favourite circuits in Formula 1. Very, very demanding in real life, though, because temperatures get incredibly high, which will translate a little bit over to the game. Those rear tyres will be burning up as the cars fly around this very, very hot, very tight street circuit in Singapore. Let's see what sort of a lap time Igor can put in. I've got nothing to go off. I don't know what the lap times are going to be. I don't know what's going to be a good lap time. Igor basically is going to have set the fastest lap that I personally have ever seen around Singapore, because there's not a chance I can go anywhere near as fast as these guys around this circuit. He is now approaching the timing line for Sector 3. So what's that? A 1:04 at the end of Sector 2. I mean, I would be thinking that these lap times are going to be below the 1:30 mark. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that. I think that's probably true. Igor then, just the final couple of corners to go as he brings it over the start-finish line. And the first lap for tonight around Singapore. There we go. It is a 1:28.9. Call it a 1:29 if you want. Look at that. It is only 3 hundredths, 2.5 hundredths, I should say, quicker than LTK not Barrier, who slots himself into P2. Agbala Jobs with a 129.2 is currently in P3, and Hitwall seems to have had an absolute nightmare with a 133.9. Swoogsteri sets a 129.8. Right, let's try and get some people as they're crossing the line then. We've got a Mercedes about to complete the lap. It is Jumpy Painter, who will be setting provisional pole with a 128.454. There's the marker for the rest of the field. I think, has Jumpy Painter been on pole twice so far this season and has not yet won a race? It's an unfortunate stat, but also evidence, perhaps, of an incredibly fast driver who just hasn't quite been able to string it all together on the race. But a great lap time, as we would expect, I suppose, from Jumpy Painter. In the meantime, Shelby, or in fact, before that even happened, Shelby was going incredibly fast. The 128.6 is good enough for P2 currently. We've got some Ferraris. This one is an invalidated Ferrari, though that's an invalidated Aston Martin. What about the other Ferrari? Shark is going to finish this lap, and it's not going to be the quickest lap that you've ever seen. It's a 130.4. It is at least good enough to pit Hitwall and not end up right at the back of the grid. Razor, I think, just set that lap time, and we just caught it at the end there, a 130.219. You're definitely going to want to be below the 130s to be competitive, I would think, tonight in Tier 2. What about Jeff? What's going on with the egg fryer? This looks like a hot lap to me. Yeah, burning a little bit of battery. All right, we're going to ride on board with the golden egg fryer then for a little bit as he swings this Aston Martin around the very tight, twisty corners of Sector 2 in Singapore. That one always catches people out. Very easy to get all kinds of wheel spin going on through that sharp right-hander, but so far it looks nice and clean. At least the car hasn't been flailing around all over the place. I believe, hold on to your Lance Strolls, because I think that was a purple Sector 2 from Golden Egg Fryer. Let's have a look how this lap plays out. He's going to be bringing it up to the start-finish line shortly. It's a weird one, Singapore, because you've got these final two corners at the end, but the finish line comes very, very fast after those, and it is pretty quick from Egg Fryer. It's a 128.9, so what's that? It's around about half a second down on our pole sitter currently, Jumpy Painter, but good enough for P6, and as we know, Tier 2 is an incredibly competitive field. So a great little lap there from Egg Fryer. Glad that we rode on board with that one. What's going on with Arbon? Is this a lap? Is this a lap I see before me? I think it is. Arbon, of course, in his new Red Bull colours for this season. Probably fair to say, not had the greatest of starts this season. But every driver in Tier 2 is fast. We know that. Arbon then is in the final sector, approaching the big wheel there. This track looks so great at night time as well, doesn't it? Oh, he's bringing it into the pits. I don't even know what I'm watching. I don't even know what I'm watching. Forget about it. Arbon perhaps invalidated his lap and then stopped being bothered. Anybody else? I mean, Jeff is still out there. This Ferrari is 20 seconds down, so that's not a lap. What about Mel? I mean, allegedly this is... what am I watching? Is this an in-lap? I don't even know what I'm watching. Let's stick with the Williams a minute. 27.3 for Sector 1. It's like Mel is having some problems here, just stringing it all together. Was that again, though? A purple Sector 1? See what I mean? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not really using much battery. Is that the strat? Maybe the strat is drive slow. get pole, you know? Lots of wheel spin. Wheel spin will just be a feature in Singapore. It's just going to be one of those things. I don't think this... Well, I'll stay on board with Mel, but I don't think this is going to... I think this is going to set the world on fire, is it? Maybe I'm wrong. Final couple of corners. Well, it's a lap time. It's on the board. And that's what matters. But it is only a 131.3. Mel will definitely want to go again and make some kind of improvement, one would think. Jobs, that's incredibly slow for some reason. Tolu has lots and lots of traffic all around. But I'm pretty confident that this is an attempt at a lap time here from Tolu. Hopefully the car in front gets out of the way and does, but Tolu gets a nice little pull from it there, actually, and it did show that he was around about a 10th up on his fastest lap time so far. So let's stay on board with the Red Bull driver and see if Tolu can make any kind of improvement. Currently the championship leader, as I mentioned towards the start of the stream, but only sitting in P11 so far this qualifying session. The car really sliding through those corners through sector 2 here, and then that very, very sharp and slow left hairpin. Again, the mini-map is flashing up purple. I don't know whether to believe it. Look at that lap time from Jumpy Painter. I think that's a 3/10 improvement on his already fantastic provisional pole lap. A 1:28.1 now is the marker for the rest of the field. Tolu then swinging it around the final 2 corners. Is this going to be good enough? It's actually not an improvement. It's incredibly consistent from Tolu, but it's not going to move him up the order at all. Soul Demon not on a particularly quick lap. Igor swinging it into the pits. Shelby down a second. Zezin has 6/10 worth of improvement. Oh, unlucky. That is for sure an invalidation, and the Alpine will not be going any quicker. So, although maybe he actually just set that new fast lap time. Is this an in lap now? I'm not sure. Anyway, 1:28.1 is the standard to beat currently from Jumpy Painter, who is sitting provisionally on pole position. Not a great showing from the Ferraris so far. Let's see how DJ is looking at the end of Sector 1 here. There is a car pretty close behind, one of the McLarens. Slightly down, unfortunately, for DJ through Sector 1. But you would think, with a 1:29, there's improvements to be made, but it's so punishing. You saw it right there. Every little mistake that you make around Singapore, you really have to slow the car down and readjust it. Oh, it can go all kinds of wrong, and the Ferrari was very nearly in the wall there for a moment. I'm pretty sure that lap time will not be good enough to change things for DJ. Hitwall, who unfortunately had that 1:33 on the board a little bit ago, has managed to improve. A 1:29.4 now for the Aston Martin. Infinity still in the pits, by the way. How's Arbon getting on? Because Arbon is now... I think he's in low fuel mode, though, but he's up into P5. I think people are just setting laps all around, and I'm not noticing it. Look at that. Golden Egg Fryer, a 1:28.3 in the Aston Martin. And he's on the second row of the grid. What a great lap that is. Just around about a 10th and a half down on the pole sitter at the moment, which is, of course, Jumpy Painter in the Mercedes. Still around about 4.5 minutes to go then of qualifying tonight, so plenty of time for these drivers to get a lap time in. Pink Web, that's very slow. Not sure what's going on there. LTK, that's incredibly slow. Agbala Jobs, are you on a fast lap that we can watch? Well, it didn't invalidate. It did not invalidate, but it was incredibly wide. Incredibly wide. Let's see what the timing clock says at the end of Sector 2 here for the McLaren. Going to be approaching it now before the next corner. So let's have a look. Yeah, it's almost a second down now, unfortunately, on his fastest lap time so far. So I don't think that's going to be good enough from the McLaren. Pink Web is just taking whatever line Pink Web wants to take, and we're here for it. Swinging the V car back into the pits. Right, looks like everybody's in the pits then. We've got a couple of guys on outlaps, Igor currently and Shelby. Had a little shout out for Shelby in the chat, of course, from Matty. So perhaps we'll try and ride on board with the McLaren here for the next lap. Hello, not sure how you're doing. Mercedes currently on pole position, provisionally 3 minutes to go, and another lap time to be set by everybody, you would think. But yeah, Jumpy Paints are doing very well so far. Shelby is just slowing down there, I think, for... Was that... was it Igor in the Williams? This is also an outlap, though. So Igor is going to start his flying lap, his fast lap, before Shelby begins his. But, like I say, we got a little shout for Shelby. So let's ride on board for another fast lap around the Marina Bay Street Circuit. I wouldn't mind a jumpy win. A jumpy win, as opposed to a stable win. I'm a Jumpy Painter fan. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. Jumpy Painter currently on an outlap. We'll try and watch that lap for you. That looks very close to an invalidation there for Shelby through the very fast right-hander. But lap time's still going to count, and only around about... Whoa, that's so wide. But only around about 4 hundredths slower than his current fastest lap. But I think it's all gone a bit wrong. I think it's all gone a bit wrong for the McLaren that is provisionally sitting on P4 and now has his lap time invalidated. Heartbreak for Shelby. Gonna have to try. I mean, I don't think he's gonna have enough time to swing that car into the pits. So hopefully Shelby has enough fuel in the car to try again. Igor has had to abandon lap. Getting right off the racing line. Look at this. Chaos and drama already. Soul Demon. Has Soul Demon just set that lap time? I don't think so, because he's got 100% battery. So Soul Demon might be one of the first people to set an actually fast lap towards the end of qualifying. Have a look how the time looks at the end of Sector 1. Well, it's a 3/10 improvement, which would be good enough to shoot right up the order. Because if you look, you've got Jumpy Painter with a 128.1. You've got Zezin with a 128.2. Egg Fryer with a 128.3. And then we go all the way to a 128.6 to Shelby in P4. And to confirm, Shelby has now retired from the qualifying session. So that lap was not a good one from Shelby. It was obviously invalidated. And it will be 4th or worse for the McLaren come the end of this qualifying session, which is only around about 30 seconds away. But of course, everybody who is on a flying lap will be able to complete that flying lap. There is a Red Bull coming up close to the line. Arbon is currently on an outlap. I think he will just cross the start-finish line in time to complete the lap. That was very close to going all kinds of wrong for Soul Demon, but let's stay with the Alpine. No, into the pits. It was no good. It was no good. Solu. I think this is going to be a fast lap, right? We'll just have to try and catch people coming up to the finish line now then, I suppose. This is Infinity, but that is invalidated. There is a Sauber there, if I can find which one it is. Well, I think it was Ozan, 129.0. Right, there's a Ferrari. It's Shark. Is it going to be an improvement? It looks like it's going to be a bit of an improvement. Up to 16th place with a 129.4. At least it is faster with that final lap. Meanwhile, Trude Steri finds about half a second improvement in the Haas and jumps up a few places. Jumpy Painter has extended his lead with a... Whoa, with a 128.1, but look at this. Snipes puts in a 128.02 in the Haas. LTK Barrier, because we're no longer allowed to say barrier on these tier 2 streams, puts in a 127.9, the first person to break the 128 barrier. in the kick. Sauber is now sitting on pole position. Can anybody knock him off that top spot? It's not going to be Golden Egg Fryer. Is it going to be Arbon? It absolutely will not be. Arbon, the final driver to cross the line at 128.652 is good enough for P8, but no better. What? Have you ever seen anything like that? I think all 10 cars in the top 10 are from different constructors. Is that right? Am I understanding that right? Sauber, Haas, Mercedes, Alpine, Aston Martin, V-Carb, McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari, Williams. There you go. All 10 constructors are represented in the top 10 places on the grid. What a race we're going to have around the Marina Bay Street Circuit for the Singapore Grand Prix. Starting soon. Let me find out for you exactly when it is going to be starting after we've done a quick run through of the grid for tonight. It is a Sauber sitting on pole position. It's LTK Tarrier with a 127.9, as I say, the only person to go faster than 128 and fully deserves that pole position. Snipes, lines up alongside on the front row in P2. Going down the rest of the grid, you have Jumpy Painter, Zezin, Golden Egg Fryer, Pink Web, Shelby, Arbon, DJ, and Igor in the Williams rounds out the top 10. It's going to be a good one. Race is on the way soon. It was an incredible lap, PG. An absolutely incredible lap. All right, it's going to do this thing. Right, let me find out for you then when we're actually going to go live. Kelson has privately mentioned how much he has missed his kit car. Sounds like propaganda to me. That sounds like propaganda to me. Right, tier 2 announcements. Everybody? I don't know. Don't ready up until 8:26. There it is. 8:26. It was an incredible lap. LTK, I couldn't do it. How can I call you LTK barrier when you're putting in 127s around Singapore? Get out of town. Incredible lap. Exciting times ahead then. What should we have a little... What are people thinking? What are people thinking? Everyone is currently thinking... Well, I was about to say everyone's currently thinking a medium. But Tolu, championship leader Tolu, by the way, sitting in 16th place on the grid, considering the soft tyres. Obviously, these things can change. We're 3 minutes away from the start of tonight's race. But considering the soft tyres. A couple of hard runners towards the back as well. I actually don't know what the... well, I don't know anything about this. I don't know what the strategy is going to be. I don't know how to drive fast around Singapore. Yeah, LTK, incredible. Great work. Don't worry about not sure. He's a bit of a, you know. Got Mercedes posters up on his bedroom wall and stuff, so. Got a little image of Toto in his bedside mirror that he says goodnight to regularly. So don't worry about that. No, you did great. But that is cool though, isn't it? Look at the top 10. Every single constructor featured in the top 10. Which, of course, because you're all competent, reasonable, intelligent human beings, means that you understand every single constructor will be featured in places 11 to 20 as well. But yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Not sure if I've seen all of these guys race before. Have I seen Pink Web race before? Kelston is a great announcer, shit racer, but great at commentaries. Thank you, not sure. Thank you so much. Hey, listen. How do you ban somebody on Twitch? Does anyone know how you do that? We get a ban. How do you ban somebody on Twitch? Right. I think it's less than 60 seconds to go. Bang on the money there. All right, PG. PG, you're already banned. I don't even know how you're here. Everybody, I'm excited for Singapore. I will say, racing around Singapore can be a bit tough, can't it? There's not a lot of overtaking opportunities. It doesn't come around very often. Probably the best one is after turn 5 in that DRS straight leading up to turn 7. But it's not straightforward to get your car past another car around Singapore. But we're also not racing IRL where there's money and actual lives on the line. So we may see some exciting and audacious moves happening tonight all the same. I make it 8:26, but it won't tell me when we're ready. So we'll just have to wait and see. I have to remember to press my spectators stuff to get all of the correct things on screen. I've been kicked out of nicer places than this. Hey, happy race day, everybody. You say turn 8 is the spot? Turn 8? Jeez. That's like a 90-degree right-hander. Here we go. We are down to 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away they go for the Singapore Grand Prix. A pretty good start from LTK, but Snipes has taken the lead going into turn 1. Look at that from the Haas, a fantastic move and positions the car well. We have a new race leader after just a few seconds. Any kind of craziness happening down the rest of the field. Let's just give it all a look. Everybody looks to have kept the car on the road so far. I'm not sure about DJ. DJ's having a bit of a problem, but a great little move by Snipes. All right, we're going to have to ride on board with LTK here going into that infamous turn 7 and couldn't quite get the move done. No DRS, of course, on the opening lap, so it's all pure driving skill around the first lap of Singapore. Zezin has a pretty good view of this battle that might be taking place in front. Very tight and twisty. Now, how's Tolu doing? Because Tolu started pretty far down, but going to have a lot of traffic to try and work through, and traffic is not straightforward to deal with around Singapore. But look at this, everybody. Oh, did I see a Ferrari nearly going sideways at the back? I think we may have done. It was DJ. We're going to turn on some things now. I'm going to turn on the tyres for you. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Everybody, Mel, good on you, Mel. Trying out the hard tyres. Let's see if it works. It's an incredibly tight race so far, as we see. I think that was Shelby getting the move done on Golden Egg Fryer just about, and then having to drift out wide a little bit through the final corner. Right then, well, let's ride on board with LTK again, because we want to see what happens with the leader of this race. It is very tight and tense up the top. The pit stops are going to be dramatic because everybody's on the same tyres. Very similar strategies being run across the field. And look, everybody's in everybody else's DRS. It's a train so far around Singapore. LTK just cautious there of Zezin in the Alpine behind, it's fair to say, but just about manages to hold it off. We're going to have to ride on board with Jumpy Painter, though, who was on provisional pole for so long during qualifying and pipped at the end, but doing a good job of holding it all together with the race leaders. That was a little bit of a tap there, a little bit of a love tap with the wall from LTK in front. Some might even say that he clipped the LTK barrier. But it wouldn't be fair if they did say that. Front driver slowing the pace a bit. Maybe the play. Could be the play. Those rear tyres around Singapore will, of course, be incredibly hot. Do we have any drama happening? Do we have any drama happening as yet? I don't see it just yet. I'm not seeing it. Although it looked like the Aston Martin was getting very close to the Red Bull in front there for a moment. Best driver on the field is Jumpy Painter. I'll show you some Jumpy Painter. Dirty air, of course, is going to be causing a problem for everybody. It does on this year's game, which is actually really cool. because it feels much more interactive having to drive close behind another driver. Right then. Still nobody has lost DRS to the cars in front. How is Snipes doing on the old battery? I mean, looks pretty good, to be honest. I thought that maybe Snipes' battery might have drained a little bit more than that, given how long he has now maintained this lead. But whoa! That was very nearly a tank slapper from LTK Terrier. But what fantastic driving skill by the Kick Sauber driver, managing to keep all four wheels pointed in the right direction just about. Sometimes you have to slide the car through these tight, twisty corners of Singapore. Look at how close everybody is going through the hairpin. It's, ooh, we have the McLaren running slightly wide. Agbala Jobs just about managing to hold his position with Trude Sterry breathing down his neck somewhat. Now then, is LTK at the start of this next lap going to have any kind of opportunity to make a move? By the way, whilst I was watching all that nonsense happen, Jumpy Painter has managed to move up into a podium position, currently sitting in third place and has overtaken Zezin in the Alpine. Jumpy Painter will, of course, have a good view of the battle currently taking place for P1. Look at these cars, just clinging on for dear life. All the tyres are running at around about 250 degrees now. It's hot and it's hard work around Singapore. They still have, 26, 27 laps to go. Snipes is a pretty good racer. It seems pretty consistent. That's what it's all about. Just got to keep the car on the road, manage that battery properly, manage your tyre temperatures properly, honestly, and just try and keep it all together now until the end of the race. But as I say, the strategy calls are going to be very interesting. Well, thanks for the 100 bits, not sure. Let's go, Jumpy Painter.
Let's go, Jumpy Painter.
Let's go, Jumpy Painter. I'll turn that into a rap song, if you like. Right, we should probably watch somebody else though, because maybe something's happening, you know? Is anything happening? There was a little bit of movement going on down here. Mel is unfortunately falling through the field a little bit, but Mel is the only driver, it's fair to say, who started on the hard tyres, so has a tyre disadvantage compared to the rest of the field, and will basically just be hoping that he can make that advantage count in the second half of the race rather than in this early portion. Croupy, thanks so much for the follow. Welcome on in. It is good to have you on board. Right then. Oh, LTK, it was... Oh, somehow he keeps the Kick Sauber. Oh no, what happened? Is it a disconnect? I'm not sure what's happened. Something terrible has happened to LTK. Down in 7th place now, the car ghosting all over the place. It could be disaster town for the Kick Sauber. That would be absolutely heartbreaking after a fantastic qualifying session. Alright, did lose the position at the race start, but doesn't deserve any of that. I'm not sure how to check whether LTK has made it back in, but that car still looks pretty ghosted to me. Is he back now? Oh, I don't even want to watch. Jumpy Painter is in P2 and Snipes, in amongst all of that chaos that was taking place with LTK, has now extended his lead over Jumpy Painter to over a second. So no advantage of DRS for the Mercedes currently. But the Alpine behind, you would think, will be breathing down Jumpy Painter's neck for the next few laps. So Zezin may be the one to profit here. Pinkweb struggling to keep up with the top three currently. Shelby very close behind the V-Carb. The McLaren does have that rear wing open going into turn 1. Drops down all the way to 3rd gear, by the way. And then 2nd for that one. Some very low gears happening here from the McLaren, but managing to maintain traction and keep a pretty close distance to the V-Carb. Sliding it through turn 5 and then coming through the next DRS section. This is called turn 6. Well, if that's a turn, you know what I mean? That's not a corner. That's a corner. Shelby, yeah, looks to be gaining really on Pink Web. We'll try and keep an eye on that one because that fight may be going on for quite a few laps now, you would think. But all of these cars are really pretty close behind. Ozan kind of losing out a little bit, I think. You can see has slipped back to over a second behind the cars in front. We only have one time penalty through the field so far, which is for DJ, unfortunately. We're saying LTK is back. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. This looks like AI to me. Turn 8 is the turn to watch. All right, then. Jumpy Painter has dropped back even more. Lost around about 2.5 tenths, I think, over the course of that previous lap. So probably not going to have much opportunity to make any kind of attack against Snipes, but rather will be checking his rear view mirrors for the approaching Alpine of Zezin. There may well be a fight happening for P2. But Ozan's maintaining pretty well now with these drivers in front. You can see that the gap between Pinkweb and Jumpy Painter is now around about 3 seconds. By the way, I did mention it. Zezin has made the move. Zezin made the move going into turn 7. In that DRS straight, the Alpine is now in P2, and Snipes has an almost 2-second lead on the rest of the field. So looking very, very good for the Haas driver so far. What to say when you hear an announcer actively displaying disbelief? I can't believe it. Ooh, that's a big gap. Look at that gap from Tolu to Hitwall. Hitwall really struggling to keep up with those guys in front. And then Shark pretty far behind that. Agbala Jobs, who I remember being a reasonably quick driver last season, seems to be struggling so far tonight. Trude Steri, though, might have a move to make on the McLaren here. We're going to watch this for a second. We are going to watch this for a second, but I am just keeping half an eye on the timings in front, because you can see that Golden Eggfryer has just made the move to move up into P5, overtaking Shelby as they approach the start-finish line there. Trude Steri, you got anything in the bank here to try and make a go of this against Agbala Jobs? I think it'll be tricky in this part of the racetrack. Shelby is dropping down even further. I'm not sure if some kind of problem has happened there for the McLaren, but first of all, overtaken by Golden Eggfryer, and then overtaken by Igor in the Williams as well. Shelby now down into P7. We'll have the rear wing open though, but so will all of these guys behind. Look at how many cars are just in a line there going through that DRS section. Great to see. Is anybody going to try and make a move around turn 7? They are not. The F1 cars came in one by one. Best viewers, thanks so much. Man, fuck the bots, you know what I mean? Right, Tolu, how are we doing with the championship leader? Points will be paid out in Revolution this season, all the way down to P12. Last season, it was down to P15. This season, it has been amended slightly, but if you finish in the top 12, you will receive points. Tolu is currently sitting in 11th. I think probably just some points will be good enough to maintain the lead on the championship for Tolu. As we see, Arbon really nearly losing the back of his Red Bull there, and is going to be under a lot of pressure from the Alpine. Is Soul Demon going to send it? No, but maybe thought about it. Maybe thought about it a little bit. But yeah, I think any old points will probably do for Tolu to maintain his lead on the championship, but we could see that lead crumble to be much weaker than it is currently. I think it's 18 points at the start of today's race. If the race continues like this, it may not stay that way. All kinds of things can happen between now and then. Safety cars, chaos. Jumpy Painter going into turn 7 didn't quite have the legs to get the move done now in the Alpine. Now this is where Not Sure says, prime overtaking spot is. There we go, around the tight right-hander of turn 8. It's not happened this lap, not sure, but we'll keep an eye on it, just in case anything ever does happen through turn 8, where you can barely fit a bicycle through the racing line. In amongst all that, though, it's fair to say that Pinkweb has made some gains, actually, on the guys in front. A little bit of battling has been happening between the Mercedes and the Alpine, and Pinkweb's now only about a second and a half down. What? Yeah, only about a second and a half down, which, you know, is better than the 3 seconds or whatever it was previously. All these guys are now spreading out a little bit, and I think that's probably just the effect of the dirty air, how difficult it is to follow behind another car, particularly in this year's game. You really, really feel the effect of that dirty air in front. It makes your traction go all over the place. The car's drifting wider than you ever thought it possible for it to drift, and you really feel like you have to wrestle with the suspension to keep everything pointing straight. So maybe just very difficult to follow another car around Singapore, which would make sense. What are you trying to say? I'm just trying to say, well, you know, we'll keep an eye on it. So down the DRS straight here that Kelston says is the best overtaking opportunity, but it looks like the Mercedes Jumpy Painter is going to be too far back to make the move. Now we're coming into the real best overtaking opportunity of the lap, into turn 8. And you know what? Jumpy Painter might have thought about making the moves there. That Alpine was going very, very sideways, flipping the wall. All kinds of stuff is happening. We're only 10 laps in to a very tense and very close Singapore Grand Prix, but it is not tense and close for one person who is frankly having the night of his life. Snipes in the Haas in front. Look at that. You can't even see the cars behind coming into frame. It is a 4.5 second gap now to Zezin in the Alpine in P2. And really, if Snipes gets his strategy right and gets those tyres off when they need to come off, I mean, Snipes' race to lose from here, isn't it? Surely. Surely. Pinkweb. Oh, I was going to say made a move on Jumpy Painter, but did not. Jumpy Painter coming into the pits incredibly early. Fair to say, that's... I mean, is that a two-stop, or is he about to take some hard tyres 20 laps? Some people have actually pit onto the hards already, so maybe they're planning to take the hards through to the end of the race. But yeah, we're approaching that point now. We're approaching the point where people are starting to make pit stops. Look at that. We've got Jumpy Painter has brought his car into the pits. We have Tolu, Agbala Jobs, DJ, all now fitting the hard tyres. That seems like an awfully long time to take a set of tyres around Singapore, but maybe they're going to make it work. We're right on board with Soul Demon for a moment, who looks incredibly close to the kick Sauber of Ozan in front, but didn't really get as much of a good exit out of that corner there. Very twisty and tight through Sector 2 as you go over the bridge. And the lights of the city in the distance look incredible at Singapore. Not sure if Soul Demon will have enough room to get this move done here, but it does look like he's got some fantastic straight line speed in comparison to the Sauber, and you saw Ozan just having to think about maybe taking a defensive line there, and also struggling for traction on the inside curb. There we go. Ozan brings the kick Sauber into the pits and says, I've had enough of these tyres, thank you very much. Soul Demon will be taking his medium tyres probably all the way to the 29th lap. Wow, look at that. Look at that. A huge drift Soul Demon's got to be thinking about getting those tyres off this car. As do all these guys in front, though, really. I mean, Snipes is still out there now, has a 6-second lead on Zezin. Pinkweb, Golden Egg Fryer, Igor, Soul Demon, Arbon, Hitwall, Shark, and Trudsteri all yet to pit on the mediums, alongside the heartbreak of the evening that is LTK Terrier. being carried along to 13th place by the AI currently. It's a melting pot of Asian peoples. Lovely place, Singapore. Yeah, I've never been to Singapore. I would like to go. That's cool, though. Not sure. I would like to go, yeah. Still only 2 time penalties, and I'll just check what kind of... Yeah, just 3 seconds for hit wall and 3 seconds for DJ. So they're not really coming into play too much so far. The thing is, if you get a time penalty in Singapore, you're sort... Oh. Sorry. You're sort of in the wall, you know? You get a time penalty, you are sort of in the wall. So it's hard to get a time penalty and survive, really. Right, surely we'll be seeing some pit stops here. Zezin still refusing. Snipe stays out. Pinkweb stays out. Eggfryer stays out. Igor stays out. Soul Demon not even considering it. Arbon staying out. Shark staying out. Hit wall. There we go. Finally, one driver has decided these medium tyres have had their day, and Hitwall brings his Aston Martin into the pits, as does Truge Stary behind. Now, that might be the opportunity, because now there's not going to be any danger of double stacking or anything for the Haas drivers. That might be the opportunity for Snipes to think about getting those hard tyres fitted by the end of lap 13. It's a one-stop track. They should all pit around 14. The early pitters will do a 2-stop. Really, Lemon? I thought they were planning to just take their hard tyres longer than was humanly possible. But fair play. Thank you for the insight. What have we got happening then? Anybody close together? I mean, Tolu is close to the unfortunately disconnected LTK Terrier. Couple of McLarens, though. We're gonna see a little bit of papaya rules. Check this out. Whoa, it's a big drift wide for Agbalajobs, and Shelby almost manages to take that inside line. They don't really want to... No, there we go. And Agbalajobs gets out of the way of Shelby and allows his teammate to slot in to 14th place. Now, what's going to be interesting, so we can see that Zezin has just brought his car into the pits. Pinkweb brought his car into the pits. Jumpy Painter is definitely going to jump both of those guys. But the question is, will Jumpy Painter, with these 3-lap old hard tyres, be able to get them to the end of the race and in a respectable position? What we need to see now is the gap to the leader. How long is a pit stop at Singapore? Because Jumpy Painter is currently 20 seconds behind the race leader, who is Snipes. And I would think that on 30... I mean, Lemon's saying they might go 14. So maybe not. But I would think after 13 laps, especially given when some people decided to pit this race, Snipes might be feeling that a little bit. We're seeing a little bit of time gained here for Jumpy Painter on these fresh, hard tyres. But obviously, that's not going to translate right up until the end of the race. We currently only have, what is that? Snipes, Eggfryer, Igor, Mel, who's on the hards, and LTK, who's currently in AI mode, who have not yet had a change of tyres this race. Hards will last 17 laps, roughly. Right, but you could take them 20. If the hards will last 17 laps, then you can take them 20 if you want. Shocked Painter hasn't maintained podium. Well, he is technically still on the podium. Not sure, because Jumpy Painter is currently in 4th place, and as soon as Eggfryer has come in and Snipes has come in, so this will be really interesting to see. Where is Jumpy Painter going to come out? He's definitely going to jump them. He's going to jump them all. He's going to jump them all in the pit lane. There it is. Jumpy Painter takes the lead of the race. Now, Snipes will be relatively close behind, but not close enough for P2, I don't think. Because there you can see the Haas just in the background of Mel's point of view. Very unlikely. If they try to take it 20, they'll get a puncture 8 or 10 times. Really? So you're saying 17 is the limit? Let's see what happens, because currently Jumpy Painter is leading the Grand Prix by around about 6.5 seconds. And if Jumpy Painter can make those hard tyres last to the end of the race, which would mean they'd go about 20 laps, And maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe Snipes will have made the wrong call. Let's see. Jumpy eats through his tyres. I see. That's what's happening. I think Painter will shoot to first when Snipes pits. How long ago did you type that? Not sure. Are you joking? Snipes getting very close to Mel in front then, but Mel does, of course, I'm going to put this back to the interval now. Mel, of course, does have a 14-lap tyre disadvantage on the Haas behind, so you would think in the DRS zone here we'll just be getting out of the way, and look at that, not even worth. Whoa, putting up a fight. What has happened there for Snipes? Almost some chaos, just trying to make his way through the traffic. Now that could be significant come the end of the race. That little moment that we just witnessed there definitely lost Snipes a fair old bit of time. Now the thing is, Mel has older tyres, but, you know, technically at that point, they're fighting for position. Mel doesn't have to get out of the way, but Mel did get out of the way, and Snipes still nearly put it in the wall. Snipes has got this, I'm sure. Jumpy will go 2-stop. All right. See you down the bookies, Lemon. Woo! Very, very close. Tolu, by the way, in amongst all of this nonsense happening. Tolu, he's done 6 laps now on those hard tyres, but has managed to jump himself up into 4th position. And we got a very good view of the Red Bull there by Zezin's point of view in the Alpine behind. I'm going to ride on board with this one for a moment because this could get feisty. There's a 3-second time penalty. We saw it happen live for Zezin. Just took too much of the inside line there. But might be able to get the move done on Tolu and then hold him up a little bit because does have the tyre advantage. Zezin then got to make the dive up the inside. Very tight right-hander, but does just about manage to get his Alpine position in front. And now Pinkweb is getting in on the action. All 3 of these cars incredibly close together. We're going to ride on board with Pinkweb as we see Tolu try to take the outside line, and they very nearly touch. Incredibly tense, close racing by all involved. And Zezin just about manages to hold on to P4. On track, of course, time penalties notwithstanding, but more time penalties can happen by the end of the race. Very, very close, exciting stuff happening. And now Mel has been brought into all of this as well with these very old 16-lap-old hard tyres. Look at the Williams drift around turn 5. Just about manages to hold it together, but the Alpine says, thank you very much, I'll have that position with my rear wing open. And Tolu does not want to lose. The driver in front keeps a tight inside line around turn 7, and here they go into turn 8. No overtaking happening there, not sure, although I think Pinkweb did manage to get the move done in the V-carb around the outside of turn 8, around the outside of Mel, so maybe you can have that one. Tolu will too. Snipes might even catch Jumpy before Jumpy even pits for the mediums. That could happen. I think the gap previously was looking at around about 9 seconds, wasn't it, between P2 and the current race leader of Jumpy Painter. So it has come down a little bit, and you would think, I mean, Snipes been incredibly fast, that it will continue to come down. Tolu, if he can keep the hards alive, he could be dandy. I mean, let's wait and see, because you wouldn't think that they've pit on lap 10 intending to do a 2-stop. I mean, maybe, but you just wouldn't consider it. I think Mel is definitely going for the 1-stop. It's going to be interesting to see when Mel pits, actually, because it looks like Mel is really struggling. Here you go, on those hard tyres. And speak of the devil, yeah, says, thank you very much. These tyres are now about 190 degrees centigrade. They are falling off the rim. Please give me some mediums to take me to the end of the race. So if Mel can get a few overtakes done, let's see what happens with that come the end of the race. Pinkweb gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limits warnings as we ride on board with Soul Demon in the Alpine. Will have that rear wing open, does manage to maintain the DRS on the cars in front. Igor actually might be under threat in the next couple of laps from Arbon. To watch Shelby Trailing very close behind the Kicksauber of Ozan in front. What a shot that is through the bridge. Great stuff. And Hitwall's done pretty well here, really, because a bit of an awful qualifying session, I think it's fair to say, from Hitwall. Was really struggling at the start of qualifying, eventually managed to string a lap together, and is currently, well, just about sitting in the points, but the time penalties will probably do away with that. And, of course, he's got Truge Steri for company going into the start of lap 19. Is the Haas going to try and make a move? We did see Hitwall in the Aston Martin hit the wall. Is it going to be enough to slow him down significantly? We can see Truge Steri getting very close through the first few corners of Sector 1. Is going to have that rear wing open once we are through the very fast right-hander of Turn 5. Rides the curb nicely. Truge Steri then. DRS is active. Burning all the battery. Looking to make a move. Is he going to dive down the inside of the Aston Martin? And there it is. Oh, but drifts very wide on the exit. And Hitwall manages to maintain the lead. Just a little bit too ambitious from Truge Steri. Can't quite get that move done. And is going to have to look at another opportunity maybe a little bit later in this lap. Maybe in the next lap. Snipes, by the way, while I've been doing all this talking, it's not worth riding on board because, you know, there's not a lot of action happening, but is around about 4 seconds away now from Jumpy Painter in the lead of the race. Jumpy Painter, of course, has tyres that are 4 laps older, and according to Lemon, at least within the next 10 laps or so, will really start to show it. Oh, you were right, Lemon. Jumpy Painter is in the pits. I'm not sure if that's damage or if that's just, I need some medium. Why fit the hards then? I mean, you know, the question becomes at that point, would you not go medium, medium, soft? Can you just not do that? Is that just not possible? Anyway, we have a new race leader, and it is Snipes in the Haas, who jumps Jumpy Painter. Who moves all the way down, by the way, to P10, but does have some fresh medium tyres and might be able to make a good go of it. Lulu tends to be right. Yeah, he knows what he's talking about, unlike some people. Speaking of Lulu, here's Tolu. Swinging the car around and over the bridge in Sector 2. Look, I love that shot so much. And all the cars so close together. Look at that, from Tolu in P5 all the way down to, what, Soul Demon in the Alpine. We got cars very close together. And Jumpy Painter, you would think on those fresh medium tyres, will be getting involved in that action before the end of tonight's race. A little over 10 laps to go of the Singapore Grand Prix in Tier 2. I don't know the strategies. I don't know anything. Listen, I'll tell you something, not sure. I'm here for vibes. You know what I'm saying? Don't the cars sound great? Doesn't the Singaporean skyline just look terrific? Look at the crowd. Roaring their appreciation as the Mercedes of Jumpy Painter with his brand new fresh medium tyres that I guess he's planning to take to the end. Maybe he's doing a 3-stop. Who knows? Lemon, can we get a lemon check, please? You're doing a 3-stop? Great timing. All right, here we go into Turn 5. Jumpy Painter thought about it incredibly, very far back there, but didn't quite have the legs to get the move done. Look at that, though, into Turn 8. What a dive that is. What a dive that is on Soul Demon. You were absolutely right, not sure. That's one for the Mercedes fans in the chat. A super late dive bomb up the inside of turn 8, and Jumpy Painter says, thank you very much, these medium tyres will get me through this traffic, no problem. You think Jumpy Painter might have bailed on the one stop? Yeah, I think that's what happened too. I don't think you fit the hard tyres unless you want to make it happen. Also, of course, gets the move done there on Arbon. Jumpy Painter just making light work of all these drivers in front with these fresh and fired up mediums. Yeah, it had to be turn 8, PG. Look at this. Whoa, thinking about the inside line, and there was contact by between Igor and Shelby in the McLaren as well, and Jumpy Painter makes 2 positions up in all of that chaos, just about manages to keep the inside line. Takes, I mean, he was nearly M. Rosette of the crowd there through the first few corners. What a great little moment this has been for the Mercedes. Drivers behind utterly bewildered at the madness happening around them. Tolu, you will not be able to withstand this, my friend. Looks to push Jumpy Painter all the way up to the wall, but no problem at all. Thank you very much, says the Mercedes man. Thankfully, this time through turn 7, gets the move done. And Jumpy Painter hopefully can solidify turn 5 now and give everybody's heartbeats a rest. Great stuff, great action. Truge there, he doesn't know what he's missing. All the way back here, 3.5 seconds down on Soul Demon in front. Could have been involved in all of that gloriousness. Look at, Soul Demon thinking about the move through the hairpin. Can you believe it? Mercedes is a perfect machine. It's a perfect machine in the hands of a perfect specimen of a driver that is Jumpy Painter, as we see Arbon in front there of Soul Demon get that 3-second time penalty for multiple track limits warnings. But we don't care about any of that because we just love seeing all these cars close together and battling away on track. We are going to ride, I think, on board with Shelby, who will have the DRS advantage on Tolu in front going into the next straight. So let's keep an eye on this as we see Arbon and Soul Demon maybe having a little bit of a battle there behind. Right then, what have you got, Shelby? Tolu burning all the battery to maintain that lead. I don't think, Shelby didn't quite get the exit there to make anything happen, but here it comes, not sure. They are approaching turn 8. No, not this time. Not this time, but maybe though, maybe for Arbon. Oof. Truge I think, has been overtaken somewhere there by Hitwall in amongst all of that happening, but will, of course, hit Hitwall to P11 come the end of the race, thanks to the time penalty situation. Unfortunately, it looks like Tarrier is fully out of this race, which is absolutely heartbreaking, really, when you think about how the race had started. But there is only one man capable of leading the Singapore Grand Prix, and it is Snipes in the Haas. He'll be taking these hard tyres through to the end of the race. Time penalties galore behind him. Really, the only driver that's like even vaguely close is Eggfire, isn't it, with 13.5 seconds. Wrapped up. Just keep it out of the wall, Snipes. Just keep it out of the wall. Turn 8 is an expert level overtake spot. Right, we're going to ride on board with... Oh, what happened to Shelby? Oh, no, I missed it. What on earth happened to Shelby? I'm too busy doing other things. He's retired in the pit lane? Oh my goodness. See, we catch half the action and then we miss the greatest moment of the race. What happened to Shelby? One McLaren is down. 18 runners left in the Grand Prix, but really, I suppose it's 17 because LTK is not really here. We're gonna have to get the rundown from people in the Discord chat, I think, as to what happened to Shelby there, because I can't, you know. Oh, in fact, he's over there. He was just over there. He must have hit the wall. But no safety car or anything though, right? But according to the mini-map a second ago, Shelby was in that portion of the racetrack, so remains to be seen. Hit wall then gets another 3-second time penalty. Look at that. Igor thought about the move on Tolu in Sector 3, but just about maintains his position behind the Red Bull. How is Jumpy Painter feeling about these cars in front? This is Pink Web ghosted in the V-carb in front. So I'm not sure exactly what's happened there, but yeah. Jumpy Painter will just want to make his way through that, to be honest. And then look at getting himself into a podium position, which, you know, is impressive with the 2-stop. And you would think we'll make light work of Golden Egg Fryer before the end of the Grand Prix. Catching Zezin is probably a step too far. But how's that time penalty looking for Zezin? 3 seconds. I mean, it's not outrageous. It's not outrageous that Jumpy Painter could conceivably get P2 tonight, but I think podium's pretty nailed on here anyway. Not to downplay Egg Fryer too much, but hards versus mediums. Tyre life taken into consideration. Rear wing is open for Jumpy Painter, but doesn't want to get the move done here. Just turns the battery off going into the final section of the racetrack, and probably will look to do it, of course, after the fast right-hander, excuse me, of turn 5. Jumpy's mediums will level out with a couple laps to go. Yeah, the advantage is probably already slipping away. But Zezin's going to be, well, maybe not feeling those hards that much, right? 12 laps, that's probably fine. Can Jumpy Painter get the move done here? Doesn't really get the exit of turn 5 that he would have wanted to make this happen. But we've seen him make a late lunge before, and it's a late lunge again, going up the inside of turn 7. Wow. The Aston Martin, great racing by these two, just about manages to maintain the outside line that becomes the inside line. And there is contact. All kinds of drama happening on the track. Jumpy Painter just about manages to get the move done on Egg Fryer, and you feel like had to get the move done on Egg Fryer before these mediums start to get a bit old. It will likely be okay. I mean, wow. I don't think anybody came out with any damage from that, thankfully. Whoa, what is happening back here? Soul Demon almost in the wall. Oh, and there's an Aston Martin that nearly went round in one of the most complicated sections of the racetrack. The de-ghosting was awful timing there for Soul Demon. Hit wall becoming tangible at the worst possible moments. Rouge Steri is also involved in this little battle that is going on. Yeah, great work by Jumpy Painter. Looks like a podium finish, really, doesn't it? I think we're going to watch Soul Demon here for a second, who you would think will want to get the move done on the Aston Martin. I'm just looking to see if there's any damage to the front wing of the Alpine, but I can't see it at the moment. I can't see it at the moment. Lap 27 of 31 then. Five laps to go. Any moves happening in this little train? Doesn't look like it for the moment. Doesn't look like it for the moment. Egg Fryer has managed to keep up with Jumpy Painter, and that podium might not be completely wrapped up, so we'll just keep half an eye on that one as well, I think. Zezin, though, looks to have solidified. No, hasn't solidified P2 because time penalty. Jumpy Painter is just, what, 2.5 tenths away now from getting himself up into P2. Is that right? Incredible stuff. So there are all kinds of battles to be watching, but this is the really exciting one on track as we see the Alpine get very, very close to hit wall in the Aston Martin in front. Lots of DRSs are open. Tolu just about is managing to hold on to his position there. How's his battery looking? I mean, it's looking pretty good to me. He's got battery advantage on all these guys behind. So great management, race management and racecraft from Tolu so far. Yeah, Jumpy Painter now is up into second position because of that time penalty. I'm not sure what has happened to Zezin. I guess just the tyres are falling off and maybe a couple of mistakes happening, but it looks like Jumpy Painter might even overtake him on track before the end of the race. And not only that, Egg Fryer could be involved in a podium position. What a race that would be from him, especially if Jumpy Painter does look to get the move done on Zezin in front. Then that's going to slow Zezin down a little bit while they battle. And then Egg Fryer's really in it. I mean, if we look at the gap here. So from Egg Fryer to Zezin currently, what is that? I mean, 4 seconds with a 3-second time penalty? It's all happening. Whoa! Soul Demon is very, very close. Thought about the move on the hairpin, if you can believe it. Does have a time penalty, so he's not really battling Tolu for finishing position here. Whoa! Just really battling for pride, but the Williams goes right out the inside and a little bit of contact between Igor and Soul Demon. Igor has the inside line, but it doesn't really matter. It's basically a straight here. And Soul Demon just about manages to keep his car in front going into the final few corners of the racetrack. Time penalties are happening all over the place now. In fact, I'll have to turn those on for a moment so that we can see what we're dealing with. Wow, 12 seconds currently for hit wall is a lot. Now, Jumpy Painter has caught up to Zezin, and Egg Fryer is right there. So Zezin is currently not in a podium position. He's in second place on track, but if things stay like this, Zezin inconceivably will be finishing fourth, and there'll be no podium for Alpine. But of course, that requires Jumpy Painter and Egg Fryer to keep the car between the white lines over the final few laps. Things can still change. Yeah, I think Shelby may have crashed, to be honest, Matty. I think I missed it. Shelby was involved in some of the best action of the race, actually. And yeah, we just drifted away, tried to have a look at some other stuff while all the drama was happening, and I think Shelby ended up in the wall, but there was no safety car, so I'm not really sure. Jumpy Painter! It's a 3-second time penalty, and currently Golden Egg Fryer could be on for a second place finish. Jumpy Painter now needs to get this move done on Zezin in order to finish second tonight, because they both have a 3-second time penalty. This is the moment to do it with the rear wing open, going all the way down to turn 7. Is Jumpy Painter going to try and send it up the inside? The Alpine only shows him the outside, but with that rear wing open and with the top speed advantage, does get the move done. And it looks like Zezin, it does not want to go for the craziness into turn 8. Wow, wow, wow. Jumpy Painter then does manage to get himself up into P2, but made hard work of it. And now, Egg Fryer, I mean, we need to go to penalties, because Egg Fryer is, I think, just about finishing second. Just about. Absolute chaos and drama to be had. Igor, in the meantime, by the way, has got a move done on Tolu. Tolu drops right back. Soul Demon still incredibly close to the Red Bull driver. Right then, Snips starts the final lap of the Singapore Grand Prix. 1 lap to go. Soul Demon just about got the move done on Tolu there. Nope, they are side by side. Was that around the hairpin? Soul Demon has looked at that a few times tonight, but now the Aston Martin have hit wall, shooting it up the inside of the Alpine. 15 seconds worth of time penalties for hit wall, but he's absolutely entitled to fight for this position on track. They're going in then to the final section of the racetrack, and there's no room to go side by side anywhere around Singapore, but somehow these guys are making it happen with all kinds of contacts going on. Rear wings are still intact, and there you go. Soul Demon gets the move done over the start finish line. 0% battery there for a moment, burning absolutely everything, giving the fans a real show over this final lap. Right, let's give Snips the moment. No, it's not yet though, is it? But we'll give Snips the moment when we see him cross the line and take the win at tonight's Singapore Grand Prix. But then we have so much more drama to catch up with down the rest of the field. What a great race. Ozan sets the fastest lap in the Kick Sauber, down in 17th place. Has he set some new tyres? He's DNF'd. I think Ozan just set the fastest lap and then DNF'd. Great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. Right, Snipes, congratulations. You are the winner of the Singapore Grand Prix for Tier 2. Very well deserved. And crossing the line second will be Jumpy Painter in the Mercedes. But actually finishing second is going to be this man. It is Golden Egg Fryer in the Aston Martin, who managed to end with no time penalties and takes second place. Jumpy Painter will round out the podium on third. Right then, Zezin's fourth, Pinkweb fifth, Arbon crossing the line sixth and will stay sixth. Igor, Soul Demon, Tolu, Hitwall, I mean, look, oh no, into the final few corners. What have we just witnessed? The pit maneuver of all pit maneuvers from Shark in the Ferrari sends Hitwall spinning through the final few corners with a 15-second time penalty. What are we watching? LTK Tarrier nearly got points there. Ghosted over the line. Well, what a race, everybody. Congratulations to Snipes, who takes the win for tonight's Singapore Grand Prix. Extra congratulations, though, to Golden Egg Fryer, who managed to keep it between the white lines and take second place on the podium. And finally, Jumpy Painter, who just couldn't make his tyres last, unfortunately, has to settle for P3. But what a great race. What a fantastic race. Here's Snipes to claim the prize. Man, I don't know about you guys, but I'm glad I didn't miss that one. What a race around the Marina Bay Street Circuit. Honestly, just congratulations to all the drivers. I'm sure that the stewards will be having an absolute field day. Hitwall is going to suggest the death penalty for Shark at the end of the race. And, you know, there are principalities in the world that would issue it as well. But overall, excitement from start to finish. A great race from all the Tier 2 drivers at Revolution. Third race of the season, of course, Singapore. Tolu, I think, will maintain his lead in the championship, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to come back and check that one next week. Everybody, I love you all a lot. Thanks so much for chilling out. Oh, it was going to show us the exciting stuff about who had the most overtakes, but it flicked off the screen too fast. Maybe I will see you next week. When, in fact, let's have a look for you. Where are we racing next week? Goodness me. This is Tier 2, yeah. Next week we will be racing around Texas in Austin for the Texas Grand Prix. So if you want to catch that one, that will, of course, be on Wednesday night for Tier 2. I'm going to be racing, though, on Friday in Tier 5, also tackling the Singapore circuit. I'm going to catch up with the chat and see what's happening. Everybody, good night. Be kind to each other. I'll see you soon.